Hey guys, I'm back again, of course, every day. Free NBA daily bets. My name's Eric. I am doing this at the halftime of the Thunder Dallas Mavericks game right now, this podcast. So definitely want to get back and watch the end of that game. The freaking Milwaukee Bucks won the first half, won the full game, did not cover the first half, did not cover the full game. So that was really annoying. Hats off to Orlando, man. Hats off to Orlando. They just keep covering spreads. So hats off to them. Oklahoma City won the first quarter, first half. Still waiting for the under in that game and also for them to win and cover the -4.5. So we'll see how that shakes out. Still have a chance to have a nice winning day today. Hopefully it breaks my way. Okay, but you guys are here for the two games today. The other two NBA Cup knockout games. First off, Atlanta at New York Knicks, and then the second game is Golden State Warriors at the Houston Rockets. Both games I'm most likely going to get involved with, and yeah, let's talk about it. Before I talk about it, follow all my bets, my official bets I put my hard-earned money on at Twitter at Easy Money Wins. And year to date, well, let's see, I might be a little bit higher, but currently right now plus 9 units, $100 better would be up $900. Depending on the Oklahoma City finish, could be a little bit more tonight. Could be up to like 14, 12 units, somewhere around there. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out, guys. But yeah, let's talk about Atlanta at New York, right? So a little bit of injury stuff going on here with Atlanta. Trae Young is probable. DeAndre Hunter is probable. And Bogdan Bogdanovic, the sharpshooter off the bench, is questionable. And then the biggest one is Jalen Johnson, the small forward, power forward. He's questionable, and he's really like, I mean, Trae Young's their best player. Even all the Trae Young haters out there, like he is. Second best player is Jalen Johnson, and he really is a game changer. And he gets down and dirty, does a lot of the rebounding. Like you need him out there, in my opinion, if you want a chance to win this game. If you're Atlanta. Now, there is obviously the whole Trae Young history of him going to the Garden, beating the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs, like, what was it, 3 seasons ago or something like that? So, Trae Young loves these moments. He thrives in these moments. He likes going to New York. So, there's definitely an angle there, if you feel comfortable backing the Hawks, that they're going to be able to cover this point spread. The point spread is, right now, -7 for the New York Knicks. It opened up at -8. I see it going down to +6.5 at some places. So if you like Atlanta and you feel like Jalen Johnson's going to play, or you just don't care, as long as you just need Trae Young to play and you like the +7s are there for you. Me personally, I'm going to wait to see if Jalen Johnson's ruled in, and obviously Trae Young, but Trae Young's probable. And I think he does play. He's been probable past couple games, and he's winded up playing in all those games. So yeah, me personally, I want to wait for Jalen Johnson. On the New York Knicks side of the thing, injury-wise, they also have some key injuries. Josh Hart popped on the thing as questionable. Now, I don't know. Josh Hart, to me, is a really important player for this Knicks team. He's the glue guy, right? I mean, he plays good defense and just does everything effort-wise that you want out there. Like, all the small effort plays that lead to wins, like he definitely stacks them up throughout the game. And then Karl Anthony Towns, he was questionable last game, and he played at Toronto on Monday. He is listed as probable. So I'm pretty confident he goes. But if I'm betting New York, I definitely want to see what Josh Hart's status is, if he's going to play. Okay, then I'd feel a little more comfortable betting the Knicks. I know he's not Brunson. I know he's not Karl Anthony Towns, but in my opinion, he's almost as important as both of them. Not together, but you know what I'm saying. So, both these teams, Atlanta's coming off in good form. They got smoked by Denver, probably looking ahead to this game on Sunday. Happens. I mean, they're looking forward to this game. But before that, they won like 6 in a row. So New York, kind of similar story. They had won 4 games in a row before they lost to Detroit on Saturday. On Monday, they eked out a nice win at Toronto, 113-108. So I did speak about this on the podcast the other night. Or actually, no, I didn't. I wrote about it on Twitter at Easy Money Wins. So I wrote about this. I did like a game breakdown. New York has to play at Minnesota on Thursday. Just Oh wait, sorry. I'm totally not seeing the dates right on this. Sorry. They play Thursday, December 19th, so they don't play tomorrow. Okay, so disregard that. I missaw that. Sorry, I see the schedule Wednesday, Thursday. I automatically think it's back to back. No, it can't be because they would have to play this weekend potentially if they advance. So sorry, take that back. No, there's no back to backs for these teams. So yeah. With all that said, guys, I can. This is kind of tough. So if you look at New York's, like, if you really think New York's going to cover this -7, and which I personally don't, I lean Atlanta, but I really need to see Jalen Johnson in. If Jalen Johnson's ruled in, I will be on Atlanta +7. And really, the thought process is this: New York has blown out a lot of bad teams at home. Okay, they blew out Charlotte, they blew out Orlando, and Orlando just can't keep up scoring with them. And that wasn't a great spot for Orlando either. They beat New Orleans, blew them out at home. They blew out Washington. They blew out Brooklyn 2 times in a row, pretty much. They lost to Chicago at home in a bad spot. They blew out Milwaukee when Milwaukee was in their funk. They lost to Cleveland at home 110-104. And then they smoked Indiana, and we know Indiana's not that good this year, or they're struggling to find their form. So what I'm saying is this, is that New York is handling business against the below to really bad bottom feeder teams. Atlanta's not a bad bottom feeder team, and they're in a really good rhythm right now. I mean, take away the Denver game, guys. Take away that. They're looking ahead to this game. They didn't give any craps about that game against Denver, and it showed. And Denver came off an embarrassing loss to the Washington Wizards. So, again, take that out. When Atlanta's motivated and when Atlanta's an underdog, that's when you get involved with Atlanta and bet them. Now, the Knicks, right? Like I said, I don't trust them in this spot to win by margin. Atlanta's a really good scoring team. I love when I'm backing dogs of like +7 or more, that team has to have some type of shooting and scoring. Atlanta has plenty of that. So I definitely see this game close. And then the Knicks this season, they haven't been playing good defense. I know of late they've been playing good defense, but again, they've been playing good defense against the bad teams. And Detroit, I don't necessarily count them as like an awful team. I think they're kind of more middle of the road, and they lost to them on Saturday. So, and then at Toronto, I mean, I did bet Toronto +8, but they only beat them by 5. They were losing at halftime. I just New York is not there yet for me to say like, hey, they're gonna win this game going away. Now the only thing is that Madison Square Garden is gonna be like bumping tomorrow. It's gonna be like a playoff atmosphere. That can create like a lot of momentum. A potential blowout. I hear all that. It's just, but Trae Young lives in these moments. If there's anybody in basketball that I trust going into Madison Square Garden in a situation like this, Trae Young's like top 3 in there for sure. For sure. Like this guy he's not even remotely scared. He's like excited about this opportunity. So I want to get there with Atlanta. I just need to see if Jalen Johnson's in there. Okay. Total wise, the total is at 236.5. And I can only look over, guys. I can only look over. And it is a tall total. And I looked last year, there were a couple high-scoring games in these quarterfinal knockout games. It wasn't like, usually Game 7, winner takes all type of thing, like these games in playoff, scenarios before in Game 7's situations. Game 7s heavily tend to go under, like at an insane rate, like 58, 59, 60%, somewhere around there. I don't know like the exact number, but like you put up all the Game 7s ever in NBA history, like they go under. And so it could be a little bit of that. You might want to think first half total over. That might be a way to go with like both these teams like coming out the gate hot, and then in the second half it slows down, worrying about making sure each possession is taken respected in a way. You know what I'm saying? Where like you're not being careless, getting off a good shot, doing a couple of good passes, not rushing anything, not making a a pass where you're not sure if it's going to get there or not. So, maybe a first half total, I can see that. But even that, I still think just because both these teams can shoot and score, that if one team's out in front, that's going to drive this thing over. Like the other team's going to be catching up, and I don't know. I could kind of see New York pulling away a little bit, and then Atlanta like staying close at the end. So I lean over. I don't think I'm going to get there. I want to get there. I do. Maybe an Atlanta Hawks team total over if you don't want to get involved in the spread. Let's see what that would be. That would be like 119 119 minus 3, like 115 and a half, 116 and a half for Atlanta. Even that feels a little high, honestly. Um, yeah. I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna lean under. I'm gonna lean under, guys. Under 237, actually. I'm gonna lean under. Just the way the Knicks game slowed down at Toronto, like it was headed for an over in the first half, and then it slowed down in the second half. I could really see that happening here with the Knicks. So yeah, that's my thought on the Hawks game, Hawks Knicks. Now the next game is really interesting, in my opinion. The Golden State Warriors at the Houston Rockets. There is a little bit of injury news. There's a little bit of injury news right here. Let's see, guys. Golden State, Andrew Wiggins has been battling an ankle injury. He's been playing through it. I would assume he does play through this and plays on Wednesday, today. I'll just speak in terms of like it's today, guys, even though it's the night before. I do think he'll play, so no real thing there. Moses Moody is ruled out. Kerr doesn't like to play him anyway, so it doesn't really matter, even though he's a pretty good young player. Form-wise, Golden State was in really bad form, kind of really bad form, honestly. They were on a 5-game losing streak. Then they beat the same Houston team without Curry and without Draymond this past Thursday. So they beat them with a whole bunch of backups in. Houston was coming off a bad loss as well at Sacramento, I believe, and where Ime Udoka called out Houston for being like super soft or something like that, or maybe that was after the Warriors game. Well, no, they got the technical fouls, and they got ejected at Sacramento. That's what happened. That's right. And then he said they played their softest game against the Warriors. So they just played. So definitely a little extra added motivation for Houston in this one. Minnesota. Then the next day, the Warriors played Minnesota. And then they were, fat and happy off their win against Houston. Curry and Draymond Green came back, and they looked completely flat. That game was on ESPN. I watched it. The Warriors looked flat. Okay. Then the next game on Sunday, Warriors come out, take care of business in the second half, and beat that same Timberwolves team. All right. So now they've had 2 days off, going to Houston, and they've already beat Houston this year at Houston, 127-121 in overtime. And if you remember that, Golden State was winning by like 30 points in the second half, and Houston climbed all the way back to descend into overtime. And I believe Curry did not play in that game either. So this will be the first time that Curry plays in this game this year. And so yeah, that's the Golden State side of things. Now for Houston, I think Sengun popped up on the injury report as questionable. Yeah, he's questionable with left knee soreness. I think it's just smoke and mirrors. I think Alperen Sengun plays. If you like Houston, you need him to play. I mean, just to be careful, just because it kind of popped up, you never know. I mean, I would be really surprised if he doesn't play because he has been playing all these games. I would probably still wait just to make sure. Now, Fred VanVleet, he's been on the injury report a while. He's no longer on the injury report. He's good to go for tomorrow. Tari Eason cleared whatever health protocol he was in, so it looks like he's good to go tomorrow as well. Cam Whitmore is questionable. Jayshawn Tate is questionable. And Steven Adams is questionable. Let me just make sure Tari Eason. Yeah, Tari Eason's good to go, guys. So, oh man, it's a little rivalry here because Dillon Brooks doesn't like the Warriors, Fred VanVleet beat the Warriors with Toronto in the finals with Kawhi Leonard. Jalen Green's up and coming, Alperen Sengun's up and coming. These teams don't like each other. They really don't. And also Ime Udoka lost to the Warriors in the finals. So there's so many crosses between the Warriors and this Houston Rockets staff and just roster. Like so many different crossings that they've had in the past. So it's that super intense game. I am personally a Warriors fan. I've been a Warriors fan since 2010 with Monte Ellis, so I don't even want to hear like all the bandwagon stuff. I just fortunately fell into like an amazing situation as a fan. Um, and I can say this, guys. I think Houston wins this game tomorrow. I do. They have all the motivation in the world. They've been playing good basketball all season. They got a really good win against the Clippers on Sunday. I know there was no James Harden, but still, they didn't have Fred VanVleet, and they came out there and they took care of business. They looked damn good. And before that, their last home game, they beat Oklahoma City, who they had trouble beating a lot recently, and last season recently as well too. And they played a back-to-back on the road against Minnesota and Philadelphia, and won both those in overtime. So they're winning these close games, guys. It's a young, talented team, good veteran presence with Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet. Um, I think they're more talented than the Warriors. The Warriors might be a little deeper, but I don't think they have the top tier talent to match up with Houston outside of Curry, obviously. But like outside of Curry, like Draymond, I mean, scoring wise, you know what I'm saying? Um, I just Houston at home has been a juggernaut this year. And I feel very compelled that Houston's gonna go out there and win a really, really close, gritty game tomorrow against the Warriors. Only way the Warriors win this game is if Curry just takes over, in my opinion. I would be pretty surprised if Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga, and Brandon Pozinski like make huge shots to win the game or like keep it going. I mean, they could. Buddy Hield, obviously, he could too. But I think it's Houston's time, guys. I think they're at home. They really hate this team. They've already lost to them 2 times this year. There's so many past history crossings with this team. Golden State's been, I think this is a circle the wagon spot for the Houston Rockets. A lot of young guys on this team. They want to taste success. Not saying that Golden State doesn't want to taste success either, but I think it's their time. I think it's their time. They've had a very magical season already. I think they build on this. I think Golden State, just their current form, their last like 10 games, it's shown that they're not all there yet. Like they kind of figured it out at home against Houston and Minnesota, and I think Golden State moving forward, they'll be a good bet on team. But right now, I don't think they're in as good as form as Houston is right now. So I'm probably going to bet Houston first quarter, first half, full game. Total wise, the total is at 222, 221 and a half. And Houston Rockets games have gone under a lot at home this year. Now, recently they have not. Oklahoma City went over. Portland, that first game against them went over. Second game went under. The Indiana Pacers game went over. The Clippers game went over. So I think like 5 out of the last 7 home games have gone over. So like the first half of the beginning of their like first, what is it, like 24 games? Like the first 13 games, they were an under team. Now the next 13 games after that, they're basically an over team. 221. Both teams really like defense. I kind of lean under in this one. I actually really like that under in this game, guys. I think that hits. Just because I think the intensity is going to be there and the defense is going to be there for both teams. I think this game slows down in the second half tremendously. Tremendously. Unless one of these two teams is just like pulling away in the second half. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be a close game. And that under 221, I think the first team to 110 points wins the game. I think the winner doesn't touch 115. I mean, you always have that potential of like the fouling game at the end and free throws and all that. I mean, that you have to take that into account. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Golden State Warrior team total under. Um, I like the under there, guys. I think I might get there with the under 222. I really like that. So yeah, guys. To recap my selections, and then I'll kind of talk about what I talked about yesterday at the end of the podcast and YouTube show. So I like the Hawks +7. Need Jalen Johnson and Trae Young in there. I lean under 237 a little bit. Don't feel great about that. I do lean Knicks first quarter and first half against the spread. I do like that. So Knicks first quarter, first half. Atlanta full game. And then under 237. That's what I'm leaning for in that one. I do think the Knicks win that game, though. I do think the Knicks win that game. So I can't talk you off trying to middle that and just taking like a 1-unit bet on the Knicks money line. I'm pretty famous for doing that. I don't know if I'm famous, but I definitely do that. I do that shit for sure. A lot. If you followed me in the playoffs last year, you know I do that all the time. Where I took Cleveland on the money line and Orlando +4.5, and I was like, I just feel like it's that super close of a game, and they both hit. So, and for the next game, the Warriors and the Rockets, I can only look Rockets first quarter, first half, full game with the spread -1.5 and under 222. And I do think Houston wins, guys. I do think Houston wins and covers tomorrow. So, and then just briefly talking about like yesterday, like guys, if you're really new to sports betting, or even if you've been in it in a while, because like I mean, there was times where like I've been in sports betting for like in some shape or fashion for like probably like 12 to 15 years now, and the biggest thing I can say is like guys, stay disciplined, bet size correctly, and then find an edge. So like, stop take -110 or lower. So -110, -105. So that way you only have to win 53% of your bets. Okay. Make sure your unit size is correct. All right. Make sure like the most safest way to go is 0.25% per unit. So 0.0025% is a 1-unit play. So that means a 4-unit play is 1% of your bankroll. Make sure that you are not betting parlays, or if you are, I mean, I bet parlays, but I only do like a fraction. I'm willing to lose that money. I don't care if I lose that money. I just do parlays because I love betting and it's fun and I love the thrill of it. So, but I put only like $5 or $10 on like maybe 3 parlays a week. So like, yeah, am I wasting like $30 a week, and like 30 times what 50 is? Gosh, is that like $1,500? Am I really wasting that much a week? Maybe I need to cut back on the parlays, guys. Hold on, let me let me see here. That's a 30 times 50. I don't do it every week. I do it in the football. Yeah, it's $1,500 a year. So guys, just think about that, right? Now I only do this during football season, so really I'm wasting 30 times like 18 weeks. I'm wasting $540. So like, maybe I should even cut back even more than that, honestly. Maybe I should only like allocate like 15, so that way I'm only wasting like $300 a year. Yeah, guys, but I mean, look at that. If you're doing $30 worth of parlays every single week, you're literally most likely throwing away $1,500. Like, that's crazy. Like, stop doing that shit. I mean, just me only doing like $30 during football season, like I'm about to like tail back a lot and just do like 10, 15. I mean, I'm fine. Like, hey, if I lose like $300 a year because I love doing parlays, like, so be it. Like, I want to do the parlays, but I'm not going to lose thousands of dollars doing parlays. Like, no, heck no, definitely not doing that shit. All right, so yeah, I just want to throw that out there, guys. Be responsible, be safe, and I mean, just follow people with winning information. I mean, historically, like I have over like 4,000 documented bets on Twitter between 3 different Twitters, like at Free NFL Bets, at Free NBA Plays, and at Easy Money Wins. 54% win rate across all those. Like literally have won probably close to like 150, 200 units. So yeah, guys. I mean, I think I'm a pretty safe guy to follow, no doubt about it. My goal is to win money for myself, and literally I'm just sharing my information. So that's all I'm doing. It's just I'm not changing anything up. Whatever I do, I'm just whatever my process is. I'm just literally sharing it with the world. So, throw me a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, follow me on all my social media. Yeah, guys, appreciate it. Let's win some money. Hopefully, the Thunder close out tonight and we have a winning night. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.